So many reasons. We've already seen some of those. We're about to see some more. But Lori representing herself in this murder conspiracy trial is something incredibly unusual. That means she was part of the jury selection process for her own jury. So I had to ask her, is she going to testify? And even though she is not an attorney, does she feel she can convince the jury to believe her? Take a listen to this part of our half-hour interview. Do you plan to take the stand yourself in your own trial?
Haven't decided yet. Don't need to decide that. Legally, you don't have to decide, so we're going to see how it goes.
This is probably one of the more unprecedented situations. You were involved in choosing your own jury. As a non-attorney, what was that process like for you?
That was an interesting process. I mean, it went way better than I thought it was going to go. The process in Idaho is so different. It was interesting for me because it was so different, and I have had that experience, so I was like, I kind of know what's going to happen here. But every state is different, right? Every county is different. Everyone's going to have their own rules of how they did it. I have to say that I was pleasantly surprised that the judge was very fair in doing the jury selection in some ways. So I think it went really well.
Do you believe you can convince a jury, this jury, to find you not guilty?
I don't think I'm there to convince anybody. I think I'm there to just tell the truth.
Wouldn't that be your goal, though, as your defense attorney, to be found not guilty?
I think that's a goal. Yeah, that's the goal of everybody. But I'm not trying to convince anybody. I'm defending myself against being wrongfully accused. So,
wrongfully accused of Charles' death as well?
Absolutely.
Yeah, she's adamant she has been wrongly convicted of the deaths of her children, Tylee Ryan and JJ Vallow, along with Chad's wife, Tammy Daybell. And she argues that she is now wrongly accused of murder conspiracy for the death of her fourth husband, Charles Vallow. She says she has studied the law and knows her case better than anyone. So we'll see what she does in front of a jury, guys.
Yeah, does she think she could do a better job than a court-appointed or hired attorney?
Honestly, she said no, she doesn't, and that she's not even setting out to do better than an attorney. But for her, she felt it was important to have her own voice, to be able to incorporate the things she wants to into her own trial, that she feels when she's had attorneys in the past who then represent her, that they don't always get out in the courtroom what she would like to get out. But she also knows that that is their job. So she said, all right, I'm going to do the speedy trial, and I'm going to take it upon myself to get out there what I want. So I will just be interested to see how she's going to act in front of the jury, because for the most part, leading up to this, we've mostly seen her in hearings just with the judge and the prosecution, and that's where she's gotten that kind of snappy, fiery approach. Will she take that in the trial? I don't know. When I asked her about it, she said, well, I didn't really think I was taking some sort of tone. But we have seen a more assertive, kind of flippant tone from her when she doesn't agree with the judge and the state. So we'll see.
She seems aware of how she wants to portray herself in front of the jury, because she's allowed to wear civilian clothes, which I know was very important to her. I know you pressed her on a number of things. What are two things you asked her about that you were cut off on?
So the two things that I was cut off on when I asked her about it, one was the death of her children. If she calls it a family tragedy, I said, well, then what happened? And that's where I was told by the attorney working with her that she didn't want her answering that because that could compromise her case. And then I started to ask more about, does she still believe in zombies and the light and the dark spirits? And she started to answer that and said, when did I ever say that? Which, of course, a lot of this case has been based on, all of the cases that involve Lori Vallow. And that was where I was also cut off there as well. But I was also told that possibly down the road, Lori would like to talk more about these things. But right now, they don't want her to compromise the trial that starts on Monday.
And not just compromise the trial that starts on Monday, she is appealing her conviction.
I believe so, in Idaho, right. So she believes she was wrongfully convicted. She said it multiple times in our interview today.
All right, that was a 2-minute excerpt. If you'd like to watch the entire extended interview with Lori Vallow Daybell, you can do it right now on azfamily.com, or you can catch it Sunday night at 9:30 on 3TV or 10:30 on CBS 5.
Her trial starts next week, opening statements on Monday. We will be streaming the trial online. Watch it on our news app and website starting Monday morning at 10:30.